kick off our conversation. So we are starting in 2 seconds. The Facebook people, we are on Instagram because we are not able to have Brian this side. So you rather than join us on Instagram, and then we'll be able. So the Instagram is on my IG live, Rapelang Mutumi, and then you should be able to join us there, and then we can have a conversation. All right, thank you very much. Welcome, Brian, and for the much anticipated discussion. Thank you very much for joining us. I know that we have had this conversation for quite a while, and we wanted to invite you for some time ago, and really a busy man. So it's good that we are able to secure you in your busy schedule, and we are grateful that you were able to honor the invites, and definitely we are going to have a great conversation. I mean, I've known you for many years now, and I have seen how you've transitioned in business up to where you are currently, and it really gives me pleasure and joy to see how far you've come and where you are today. So thank you very much. And I still appeal to the Facebook people to join us at Instagram, because you'll only be able to hear me on Facebook, but you may not be able to hear Brian. So do join us at Instagram, and we'll be able to have you there join our conversation. So thank you very much. So Brian, without any further ado, thank you so much for coming once more. So welcome. And I just want to, as I kick off the conversation, it's not going to be a very technical conversation, but it's going to be the story on your journey, using what you have done on the digital transformation to understand the scope of the digital transformation with the work that you have done in Townships and the work that Vuleka app has done in the township in as far as the digital transformation is concerned. So the first question to you is just for you to tell us more about your journey, where you come from, how far you have come to be where you are, and what inspired you specifically to start a technology business instead of any other business, because there were, I mean, there are so many businesses out there that you could have chosen and started. So what inspired you to start a technology business, as you just take us through your journey?
Okay, not a problem. So I think what got me firstly into entrepreneurship is that I dropped out of university. So I was a third-year medical student, and then I dropped out, and I think entrepreneurship chose me versus me choosing entrepreneurship. When you're back before, you try and do what it is that you can do, and I think I sort of liked it, and I liked coming up with solutions or solving problems or coming up with ideas to solve those problems. And that was like many moons ago. And my business journey has been essentially technology based. I think the whole journey that I've had. I mean, back in 2015, I was trying to start an augmented reality company, and that was obviously a bit ahead of its time. And if I'm correct, you actually registered the Vuleka company. Yeah.
Don't expose my other life now.
Yeah. And with regard to you know, choosing technology versus another industry, there's a number of reasons. The first is technology makes things easier, right? So it brings convenience to the solutions that, or to the customers that you are solving the problems for. So it's easier to use technology to do that. Secondly, it's easier to scale. So it's easier to scale using technology than trying to, you know, build one product and sell that, and build another product and sell that. It's easier to scale even the selling of those products using technology. It's also easier to sell. So it's easy to sell a technological like company, because you can sell it to anyone anyway. So it doesn't necessarily have to be based in the location that you are based in. In other countries can actually see that this technology could work for them to solve their problems, and they will be able to buy that technology. And I think lastly, it's with technology, you don't have to have the full product done to go to market. So you can start off with an MVP or a minimum viable product that works, and then go to market first, get the feedback, and know if this is going to work or not, or if you need to change it. So it's a bit easier as well and cheaper to start off a technology company and see where you're going wrong and where you're going right before you actually go into full scale production.
Oh, no, thank you very much. So you have then decided to start this company called Vuleka platform, which has pioneered this app for the sponsorship market to provide the solution there. So can you tell us more about what Vuleka app is all about? What is the solution and what is the problem that Vuleka app is trying to solve?
So the Vuleka platform is essentially a platform, and the app is part of the platform. So the platform is solving problems for the customers that we've identified. That customers that we've identified, one are the sponsorship owners on the one end and their customers, as well as on the other side is the product manufacturers that the sponsorship owners sell the products for, as well as big business that wants to get into this sponsorship market. So if I start off with the sponsorship owners, what we realized or we saw was that the sponsorship owners were not being sustainable, or we're not running sustainable businesses because of a number of reasons. So the first reason was the fact that they could not buy stock at prices that would allow them to be able to make a profit margin, right? The second was that a lot of them would have to, when they're going to go and look for stock or stock up, they would have to close off their shops and then go and buy the stock. And thirdly, when you are doing all of that, you don't know when you are going to this place if they have the stock that you want. So for the shop owner, those three major problems are what started out the platform. So what our platform then does is that it aggregates the orders or the purchases from the different sponsor shops of the same product. We bulk buy this product. Bulk buy means that we can negotiate pricing and can get discounts. We then deliver the product to the shop owner. So the shop owner doesn't have to leave his shop in order to get the product. The shop owner does not have to worry about the fact that the stock is not available where he goes, and he gets the product also cheaper. And then what we've noticed in the journey as well is that a lot of these shop owners also then want to grow their businesses, right? But then they are recognized, or they're seen as people that operate within a space that can't get credit because they're space businesses. So what the platform does is that we build profiles for them. We build the profiles on what it is that they've been ordering, how much they've been paying, and then this credit profile becomes a credit score, and we can offer them credit. So those are the solutions for the shop owner, right? And then on the other side, there is the product manufacturer or the FMCG brand manufacturer. So he knows what is happening with this product mostly at formalized retail. So he knows if you go to the Pick and Pay, the checkers, this is how much they're selling, this is who they're selling to, but he doesn't know at this informal space how that happens. So our platform connects that. Our platform then says to them, we can track your product journey from when it leaves your warehouse to the shop owner, but not only to the shop owner, but also to the consumer that buys from him. So he knows that product journey. What he can also do, what the product manufacturer also gets, is now he knows the person that's selling his product. Now he knows his customers in a more intimate way. And then we also work with big business that want to enter into the sponsorship market. So there's a lot of financial services. There's a lot of guys that want to do business with this market, but don't necessarily know who these people are. And through our platform and our database, we can connect those to those shop owners. So it's a multi-sided platform that then works to actually come up with solutions for the different customers that we have identified, like I've said.
Well, it sounds like a very complex solution, but very simplified. And maybe tell us more about how did these sponsorship owners find it, have, and how is adoption of the platform, and how easy it is, how user friendly it is to be used, especially from the user interface and the user experience. So how did they find it, and what was the reception like when you first introduced this solution? Because I know that you are targeting the technophobes of note. I
Yeah,
mean, I grew up in a spaza shop at home.
yeah,
It was a spaza shop from 1995. It's still a
yeah,
spaza shop today, run by my parents who have no clue about what technology can do.
yeah.
And you are targeting these people who are serious, serious technophobes. I can't imagine you going to my parents and showing them the app, how it works and how they place orders. So I'm just interested to see, how did you manage to cross that barrier, because you are going to the people who are um, um, who just don't want anything to do with technology because they don't understand it. It's
Yeah.
very difficult for them. It may sound too complicated or too complex, and they may want to stick to what they've been doing because it's much more easier. So
Yeah.
how has the adoption been like? How has the reception of you coming up with such a digital solution to them? What was the feedback like?
Okay, so I mean, we launched the first platform in 2017, right? The first
Yeah.
platform launched to, we got a whole lot of pushback. And I think we got pushback mostly because we thought we were smart and we thought we understood the problems that we were solving for. So without going to the shop owners and what it is that they wanted, we launched a platform that we, in our heads, made sense to what the shop owners' problems would be. So it was a very complicated platform. It was something that had inventory management. It could calculate what, you know, in terms of accounting systems, what you could do. And that was just like exactly what you said. It's just no. They pushed back hard and they were like, we cannot use this. We have guys that go out and actually introduce the product to shop owners, and all shop owners would be like, no, they don't want to be on the platform. And the what we then did is that we went back to the shop owners, right? And we asked them, what is it that you want from a platform like this? How can we make your lives easier? And from that, we then launched the second platform. And with constant feedback, we literally launched our third platform again in November last year. And this has been based on feedback that we get back from the shop owners. Remember what I said earlier on about the MVP, where you can go to market with a solution that's not 100%, because then you can go back and change it to a point that your customer wants to use it. So the adoption now has been a spike because we've simplified it to essentially what they get when they go to a cash and carry. So when they go to a cash and carry, they get a board sheet which has got a picture and a price, right? And that's what our platform looks like for the shop owner. So the front end for him is just got a picture and the price and the quantity. And he presses how many he wants. It tells him how many or how much it's going to be. It tells him the delivery, it tells him when it's going to be delivered, and that's all he does. Everything else we do in the back end, which, you know, he doesn't necessarily get to see. But then at the same time, it simplified his life, because what he's used to is using the board sheets where he gets this, and when it gets to a cash and carry, there's a picture, there's a price, there's a promotion, there's this. He sees all of that, and the interface looks exactly like that.
So, in terms of maybe the numbers, how much has been your penetration in the market, and where are you operating? Where are these users, and how do you see Vuleka app also reaching other territories as well? Where is your base, and which sponsorship owners have been onboarded on the platform, and how feasible it is for this thing to rapidly grow into other territories as well, and continue to create value for other sports shop owners?
Okay, so currently we have about 1,200 shop owners that have registered on the platform, but our database is just over 6,000. And these are people that have shown or that have downloaded but maybe not placed an order. We are Gauteng based at the moment, and we are currently in an expansion plan to get into other provinces. So we are actively working with local partners. So what we do is that when we get to an area, we'd rather work with people that live within that area. So the people that know the dynamics of that area and that know the shops and that know how things work there would partner with them and work with them in that area to launch the platform. And that's how we're going to rapidly scale this throughout this year. So we're planning to get into about 2 other provinces within this first 6 months, and then maybe another province for the last 6 months of the year, and within the next 2 or 3 years, be across the whole country. But there's infrastructure as well, obviously, that's needed, and you have to find the right partners that you can work with within those local geographies.
Yeah, no, it seems like you guys are expanding quite rapidly. I mean, those are big numbers, and I can see that there is a potential for this thing to explode, because it does definitely solve a real problem that these sports shop owners are faced with. And also, is it based on are you only targeting the local sports shop owners, or even the foreign-owned sports shops? And how has it helped the local sports shop owners to position themselves and meet the competition that they are facing against the sports shop owners of the foreign-owned?
So the one thing that it does is exactly what the foreign-owned shop owners do, which is bulk buying. So the foreign-owned shop owners put money together, and then they buy together so that they can get pricing cheaper, and that way it's easier for them to have cheaper pricing when they put it on their shelves, right? So our platform does that. It aggregates the orders for everyone else that is not doing that, and then still gives them the benefit of getting the cheap pricing. So it does that for them, but not only that, the advantages that it's got, as I've mentioned, is also the fact that we can build the profiles for the shop owners, and after building these profiles, they can get access to credit. We give them stock on credit, meaning that they can get more stock into their doors without necessarily having to have the cash output, and then they are competitive in that way. But they then are able to pay us back with their next order. So we've got those. And then we also work sometimes with brands that want to run specials or product launches directly with those shops. And then we become the conduit for them to connect with them directly.
No, that sounds very interesting, because as we are talking about the digital transformation, and we are trying to understand Vuleka app as a good example of how you implement a digital transformation within other businesses as well. So you have launched that solution to a very difficult market, which are the sports shop owner. I can imagine the amount of work that you guys had to do just to prepare for such a market. So as an entrepreneur from a township who's listening now, or any entrepreneur from anywhere who's also trying to launch themselves or launch a technology solution into the market, what does it take to start a technology business, especially as an app? Everyone is now starting an app nowadays, and everyone is trying to be the Uber of everything or the Airbnb of everything. So there's just a buzz about everyone want to go the technology route. So what does it take to start a successful technology business, given there's so much competition that is out there? And what has made you guys successful against the odds of such a competitive space? Because starting a technology business, I mean, it's very difficult because the competition is tough. So what has helped you guys to be able to start a successful technology business and really go out there and be received by the market in such a very difficult market? What does it take to start a technology business that is successful?
So, funnily enough, you don't have to have the best technology to start a very successful technology business. You have to have the customer, and you have to understand what the customer needs are. And I think that is the one thing, as I mentioned, that we did wrong when we first launched our app. When we first launched our app in 2017, we thought we understood, and thinking we understood being the operative word, because we saw what on the surface we thought are the problems that the shop owners are facing, and then we launched a platform thinking that this will solve their problems. But we didn't go out and understand exactly what the customer wanted. And that's where a person can then find a niche for themselves. Because what you do is that if you've identified that there's probably a problem that affects either you or affects you around your township or around wherever it is that you are, you find out what is it that can be the solution directly for that problem. And another thing is that there's nothing new under the sun, right?
Yeah.
We take things from elsewhere, from other countries, from other industries even, and then you take this into your industry to launch. So that's what I believe is innovation, not essentially coming up with something brand new. It's using what's already there and making it a bit better or a bit more accessible or convenient for the customer that you have got. So the biggest thing is essentially getting the customer and getting to understand what the customer wants. And once you understand what the customer wants, your solution needs to be built for what the customer wants, not what you think is in there, because you will burn through money and you will make all these decisions and you'll say, you know what, I know that this is what they need here, and you can have the best technology ever, but if people are not using your technology, it's useless.
So I know people also have this mentality to build, they will come. And there's so many apps out there, so many platforms, so many softwares, but there are no users because there is a tendency of wanting to build, and I hope that this is a great solution and everyone will come. But there's still a lot of marketing that has to drive the product, the reception of that solution and the product to really get out there. There is also a hurdle of the competition that you are going to face out there. So I want to understand now, as we are discussing the digital transformation in townships, so that what is your understanding about digital transformation? I know that is a buzzword, but commonly it has been well understood by big business corporates, and there is a lot of recognition of what is the importance of the digital transformation wave that has just come, especially being accelerated by COVID and the situation that we find ourselves right now. So what is your understanding of the digital transformation, and how do you think that it can be possible for small business also to adopt the same idea and use technology to really take their business to another level, reach new market, be able to expand, being able to accelerate their growth, and being able to also attract new markets using technology as an enabler? So what can you explain to our listeners about what digital transformation is all about, especially in the context of small businesses?
Okay, so I think first I'll just go into the fact that if you look at the trends that are happening now, phones are getting cheaper, cell phones are getting cheaper, so everyone has got access to a cell phone, right? Smartphones are getting cheaper. The generation that is now, or the generation that is coming, are people that live off their phones, right? These are people that want convenience and want it now, right? So the digital transformation is essentially coming up with solutions that can be used by those consumers. But then those solutions need to be technologically based, or technologically, they need to be based on technology, because that's where the world is going, right? And for a small business owner, you essentially have to get with the wave, or else you'll get left behind. And yes, you can have the best product, but then if people cannot get to you in the easiest way for them, then you essentially would not be able to sell to them. So if I can't in 3 clicks be able to get to someone or to get to your product, I will get to the product that I can get to in 3 clicks, right? If I have to go out of my way to come and get your product, as beautiful as your product could be, there is no way that, as much of a fanatic as I would be, everyone would be that to wait I will get this. I have to go through a process to get it. We're living in a world now of a lot of instant gratification. So people want things and they want them now. And you need to be at the fingertips of their people. It doesn't necessarily have to be a phone. You have to be in their faces in ways that they know what you do and how you do it and how you are solving their problems. So that is, in a way, the digital transformation, the way I see it. So rather than, word of mouth has been there for years, and this is how people would know. If you want your car to be fixed, you go to that mechanic right there. No one can do it better than him. Right now, you can just put an ad on Facebook, and 500 people can see, what it is that you're doing, and then they can come to or not, and then they will know the pricing before they come to you, because that's another problem that we currently have. Like, a lot of people would then have the fact that, if you want my product or you want my solution, you need to call me to find pricing out, and then that is taking away from your customer, because now the customer has to do work to find out from you. And I've seen even with a lot of posts where they say you need to DM for pricing. People will not DM for prices, because if it's readily there, I will know that, do I have the budget for this or do I not? If I have to now DM for prices and then still have to start negotiating.
Thank you so much for that. And I think there's so many myths that we have to pass, especially in how people look at how the market intelligence. So how then do we look at innovation in the township? What do you think stifles innovation within townships, so that small businesses within the township are inspired to come with very, very innovative solutions? Because most of the problems and opportunities are in the township.
Yeah.
So, but the solutions seem to be coming outside of the township into the township. So how do we then encourage a situation where these solutions, they come from where the problems are? Because the problems are in the township, the solutions need to come from there as well. So what do you think starts innovation in the township, and what do you think also continue to perpetuate the knowledge gap that is there? Because we live in a knowledge economy, so you can't talk innovation and not talk knowledge. So what do you think creates this knowledge gap and also the lack of innovation to come from the township? Because everyone is building solutions for the township, but these people are not living in the communities in which they're solving for. But how can the young people that are living in where the problems exist, where the opportunities exist, be the one that are championing and pioneering some of those solutions, so that they can commercialize that effort of solutioning for their communities?
So
I think we are losing.
Oh, so sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can hear you now. We are losing you a bit, but we can hear you now. You're back.
Okay, cool. So with regard to innovation, I think innovation does exist, right? You will not find problems within the township where people are standing with their hands on their head and waiting for someone to come with a solution. A solution is already there. They will find a way to make that solution, right? It might not be innovation in the ways that we think is innovation, but it's innovation there, and there's a solution that is found in that, like within that space. However, with the question that you asked with regard to what is stifling maybe the growth of it, it's access to resources, I believe, right? So if I can't sit at home and maybe don't have access to the internet. I don't have access to Wi-Fi. I don't have access to knowing what is out in the world. There is no way I'm going to come up with a solution that could be a solution for my problem, right? Because like we've said, there's nothing new under the sun. There are things that are out there that you need to research and find out. You know, maybe this is working in another industry or it's working in another country. It could probably work for me here, right? But then if you don't have access to that, there is no way that you'll be able to know. So the access to something as simple or as basic as Wi-Fi or data or a smart device, right? A smartphone, a laptop that one can use to do the research is what is stifling innovation, I believe. That's the first thing. The second is that, you know, sometimes people become a bit despondent because you've been trying, and things are not working out, right?
Sure.
You try to come up with this solution, it doesn't work out. Try to come up with this one, it doesn't work out. And then you end up just being despondent and just leaving it and just saying, you know what, maybe this actually would take maybe too much money to do. It's too much money to actually try and do this. So let me rather just leave it. Which is why I think with technology, it's a bit of like it levels the playing field a bit. Because like I mentioned earlier, you can go out and have a minimum viable product that is not your end solution and try and work that, right? You can use a lot of open source software that's available for free, but then you still need to have access to the internet or Wi-Fi and smart devices to get access to this open source software. But you can start off small with an MVP before you go into full launch. So I think those are some of the things that are barriers maybe to people coming up with innovative solutions or for the problems that they're facing around them.
Yeah, let me continue to appeal with the Facebook people to do join us on Instagram, because on Facebook you seem to be only hearing me and not hearing Brian. So, but you will be able to hear Brian very well if you go to my IG and be able to join in. So now let's also try to make it practical for someone who is inspired by your story and now they want to start. So where do they start? Here I want to start an app or a platform or a software or any technology solution. So what is the process? So in layman terms, the process from point A to point Z of starting an app and for that app to go to market. So what are the technical processes? Where do you go? Who do you pay? How do you find yourself on Google Play, Play Store, or any other platform where people can buy your apps? How easy it is for your app to launch and be accessible? People can be able to buy it online or subscribe to it. So what is the technical process just from initiating an app, you know, type of a business up to where now the use is ready for the market?
So
what is the step-by-step process?
So first you have to find out if you've got a customer. You see, before you even go into trying to launch an app, you have to find out if you've got a customer, firstly, and secondly, if your customer actually does want an app, right? Because your customer might not want an app. Your customer could be okay with, if you're selling products with an e-commerce platform, which right now Facebook has got the marketplace. You can sell on WhatsApp. You don't necessarily have to have the app, right?
Okay.
You can build something native for yourself, which could possibly cost you money without verifying that you do have a product that people are willing to pay for. You see, that's the first part. The second part is now that maybe you've seen you've got a market, you've seen that people do want to buy this, and then you want to build something natively where people can come directly to you. Then there's a number of ways in which you can do that, right? Most of the townships have got purpose centers, and a lot of the multi-purpose centers have got libraries, right? And in libraries, you would have access to computers that have got access to the internet. A lot of them have got the free Wi-Fi as well that you can get access to within your township at the Makwaiba Center. You get access to that. I think also a lot of bus stations and would have access to Wi-Fi for people to be able to then go in and find out what they would need to build like an app, right? If you're not a developer, then you can use that to look for developers or for people that would be able to help you with developing the product that you do have, right? Like I mentioned earlier as well, there's a lot of open source software that is out there that one can get and white label, that if it is a solution that looks like the solution that you want, you can get that, white label it to what you want, and pay a licensing fee, maybe yearly, without you now having to go out and build natively. I also know that there's places like the Innovation where they've got centers within some townships where you can go into those places and they can assist with either linking you to a developer that maybe is part of that community, or you becoming part of that community too and getting or learning how to code. There's a couple of companies that are actually out there that teach people how to code as well. I know the guys from Geek Culture do that, where they would teach you how to code, or they would have hackathons where you can go and learn how to come up with solutions. There's like We Think Code as well, where you can do courses, like 6-month courses that are government funded, that are free for you as the person that wants to learn, right? And it's free for you to go learn how to code. And government or big business pays them to teach you how to do that, so that you can do it yourself if you then want to build natively. And I think that is essentially the hardest part of the whole process, because once you do have the platform or the solution done, then it's you now going out to customers or to the market to find out if people would use your product or not. And that is something that anyone in business would then have to then go or try and do. There is no easy solution for that, because you have to speak to your customers and find out if your customers want to use your product or not. Are they willing to pay for it? How are you thinking of going into the market? Is it going to be a free product for the customer? But if it's going to be free for the customer, how are you going to make money? So that's one of the things that you need to think about. So you can build and have the best technology, but how are you going to make money out of it is the first thing, because you are in business essentially, yes, to solve a problem, but also to make money so that you are sustainable, right? And then if you are sustainable, then you can come up with more solutions for more problems that you have, that you can then find out. And then another thing is that you can also then have the solution shared on places like WeChat or not. Sorry, on WeTransfer. You can transfer your app to people before you go live for them to use it or to test it and tell you if it is something that they would want to use, or there are issues or bugs with it. And then for you to go to the Google Store or iOS or all those platforms, you apply with them to tell them that this is a solution that I have, and then I want to list this on your platform. They then would ask you for your back end. They go into your back end to check if it does not, if it's something that they would list, and if it doesn't break any of their rules. And then if it doesn't, they list the platform they list it for you. If it does, they come back to you and they tell you, change this, that, and the other. And then once you've changed that, you are able to then list it on the solutions. But then before that, you would need to know how you're making money. Is it a free download, or do you want people to pay to download it? Because then there's also different things that you would need to consider if you want people to pay to download it. If people are to pay to download it, the payment first goes to the app stores and then comes to you. And how many people would be willing to pay to actually download a product that you have done, if they like we've mentioned, there are so many of those out there. You need to have a very willing or a very good value proposition to them for them to then say, yes, we're willing to pay for this. Or it also works with the business model that you've thought about. Is the business model about getting to as many people as possible, or is it about being niche and exclusive and getting only people that can afford to pay for it to come in and pay for it, and then you can then have your app in a number of ways, right? So you can have it as a free to download, but then it can have in-app purchases. So if someone wants to, I'll give the example of a video game. So if you now have this app that's a video game, or look at it as a video game. So you move from stage 1 to stage 5, it's free, but then in order for you to unlock stage 6 to stage 10, you have to pay a certain amount. And so then you would have those in-app purchases where someone would have to then have a certain amount of money to pay for unlocking that. A lot of the free apps would be free, but then there's advertising on the app. That's how the app owner or developer would make their money. So if you develop the app, but then it's free, then you go and sell advertising space to whoever it is that wants to reach the same customers that you would be downloading and using your app, then that's how you can make the revenue from it.
Okay, so now in terms of the cost and the length of time from the concept to launch, so how much does it take and how long can it take? And are you maybe able to give us an anecdote of what you yourself went through in the process of getting Vuleka app to go live? So roughly maybe generally how much would it cost and how long does it take for you to launch that app solution to the public?
So that question is essentially like asking how long is a piece of string, right? Because it depends on what you want the app to do. So it depends on the functionality of the app, because if it's going to be complicated, it's definitely going to take a long time, it's going to cost more, right? But then if it is something that is not complicated, it will take shorter and it will be cheaper. You can even probably do it for free. So an app can probably cost anything from like for free all the way to the millions of rands. So depending on how complicated the app is, and remember, it's not just what people see, but it's what happens in the background. So if someone clicks, what happens in the back end and what does it communicate with? And what does that then do? Which is why I think the beauty of technology is that you can firstly go out with a minimum viable product that doesn't cost you to do, and then work from there up until a point where you've got more money or more resources, or you've got investors to be able to expand what it is that you're trying to do with that platform. So there's no set answer on how much it would cost. It could go from being free essentially to about millions of rands. I mean, our first platform cost us about 200,000 or 300,000 rand to do, but then we had won that from a concept type competition that we had come up with. We came up with the concept, and then afterwards we got money for it, and then we used that for the development. And then in terms of time, it took us about 3 or 4 months to get to the market. But then at the time, like I said, it was because we thought we understood it, and we came up with a solution, and with the solution that was not used or downloaded, and people were just like, this is just no. And then go back and redo it. So it was a very painful lesson and cost.
Yeah, but it's really inspiring to see where you are. So that's why now, as we're going to be rounding up the conversation, just for you to tell us more about the accolades and all these awards that you guys have been getting, because we know that you are a multi-award winning entrepreneur with a multi-award winning app platform. So what are some of the accolades that you can share with us, and what are some of the successes that you have achieved through out your journey, and what are some of the awards that you have that you have? I know that some of them they've come with prize and with very, very good money. You were really smiling all the way to the bank. So yeah, maybe just tell us more about the accolades that you've got along the chain for this work that you do.
Okay, so I don't know if I'll just list all of them, but then I mean
That means there are many. Can't put all of them together. Wow.
so we've won a couple of innovation competitions that would be
Yeah, let me continue to remind the Facebook people, please go to Instagram to be able to see Brian. So you can only hear me now and see me, but if you go to our Instagram, so you'll be able to see both of us because the main platform is broadcasting from Instagram. So my IG live is Rapelang Mutumi, so you can just go there and then catch us live there. Thank you. Can you go ahead, Brian? Sorry for that.
Okay, no, it's fine. I mean, a couple of innovation competitions that are hosted by the city. So the city of Joburg would have innovation competitions. I think they've got a round now that's going out for a smart city type thing. So those are some of the competitions that one can enter, and some of them allow you to enter from concept phase without having built a solution yet. So if you've got an idea and you say, this is the idea that I've got, and then you can start getting either the money or resources from there to build the solution, or they can actually even help you to build the other solution. So a couple of innovation competitions. There are the Township Entrepreneurship Awards hosted by the Gauteng province. I think we won a couple of awards there. We won some stuff from the Da Vinci Institute, won some awards for sustainability or a sustainability concept, and I think the innovation concept. And we've also won some, also for innovation, I think with Gauteng province. A couple of, I think about 2 years back, we're also part of the top 20 African business heroes, like for the Jack Ma Foundation African Business Hero Awards. We've also won one of the top 15 entrepreneurs in Africa. I think that was also a couple of years back. So there's been a couple, and none of them are just coming up now. I'm just going blank. I'm drawing up.
So it means that there are quite a lot of them. That's why you couldn't really remember all of them. So and it's really amazing to see that it has been a rewarding journey, even though it has been very difficult. But I think those are things that bolster the confidence and really reignite that passion when you remember the difficulties, but you also comforted by those accolades. So it really just keep you going. So yeah. So where do you see the trends in 5 years in terms of digital transformation and how small business can play in there? What are the trends in 5 years, and also where do you see Vuleka at play in 5 years' time?
Okay, so within the next, I would say 5 years, the generation of people that are teenagers right now are the people that are going to be adults, and the people that are, are still young are going to be in their teenage years. And these are people that have grown up with technology around them. These are people that have grown up mostly living off their phones, and I see a lot of people essentially living more off their phones than anything else. I see a lot of people wanting convenience and not wanting, and essentially not having time to do things. Hence, the solutions that need to come need to be solutions that come up with giving them back their time, essentially. So if I can come up with a solution that doesn't need you to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 things, I can do all of those for you. And all you have to do is to go onto my app or my solution and click there. And I know that all of that is sorted. I don't have to worry about that. That's where the world is going. A lot of the world is going into augmented reality. It's going into a virtual reality where you probably don't have to, step out of your house to experience a lot of the things that you now have to pay, you currently have to pay exorbitant amounts of money to go and experience. So you can put on some VR or AR glasses and you can experience the Niagara Falls without having to be there. The sounds, all of that. So that's where the world is going to more instant gratification and people living off their phones and living off their laptops. And that's where if you're coming up with a solution, you need to be thinking about. So how do you get people online, or how do you make people's lives easier, essentially? And then with our platform, we will evolve with the times. We have to, otherwise we will get left behind. So we have to continue going back to the customers and understanding, because we've learned that very expensive lesson that you can't come up the solutions for your customer without finding out what your customer wants and where your customer is mentally. So if your customer is ready for a new product or a new solution, then you can come up with that new product, or you can introduce it to them. You definitely are going to have people that are early adopters that will want to see what's happening with the technology and try it out. And then those could be the people that you use to try and find out if your solution works or does not, before you launch it out into the main market.
All right, no, thank you very much. I think just the last question would be, where can people find you and where can people see more about the Vuleka app, the work that you do? If someone wants to follow you, where can they follow you? If they want to keep in touch with you, where can they get in touch with you? So just share with where exactly you are found.
Okay, so with Vuleka, our website is vuleka.com, so www.vuleka.com. That's easy. If you want to find us on Twitter, we are Vuleka_app. On Facebook, it's Facebook/Vuleka platform. On LinkedIn, we are also Vuleka platform. And we are based, like I said, in Wynberg. We do have an office warehousing space here. All of the details are actually on our website, so you can go check out the website. You can follow us there. There is a contact us sheet there, like right there, in case you've got other questions for us to get back to you.
All right. No, thank you so much, Mr. Brian. If we're not on a professional platform, I was going to say Brian Waga Ayanda. But I'm not going to do that because we're on a professional platform.
What are you going to say?
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for joining us. And what an incredible...
You can find the app on iOS or Android for download. So like I said, we just launched a new app in November last year. You download and use the app, you get a KFC voucher on us. So
okay. That's one. Very interesting marketing strategy there. So thank you so much for joining us. I think it was a very, very educational conversation where someone can really see where you started and how they can learn from the work that you have done and what does it take. That's the most important thing. So thank you very much for enlightening us about your journey and what Vuleka does and how can someone follow your footsteps and be able to really be as successful as you are. So thank you very much, Brian, for your time. I know you are a busy man, so sorry for taking you away from from your business. The last time I was in your business, I was really inspired by how hands-on you guys are. There was a stock everywhere. You guys are on the ground. You are really the grassroots people, and you work really hard to make this work. You are not the app guys who are sitting in the office trying to run from the administrative offices, but you are on the ground making this happen, and it takes a lot of work. I have seen it myself when I went to visit you guys. So I'm really inspired by the work that you guys do. So thank you very much. Continue to shine the light on our people and continue to inspire confidence and really have more young people also follow in your footsteps. So thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you, Mr. Rapelang.
Stop,
All right.
stop.
Bye.